Today, on The Way of the Master.
Ugh, I can't stay away, can I? I think there might be something wrong with me. Well, I know there's something wrong with me, but... Well, I know there's lots of things wrong with me. Okay. I would be surprised to find out if there was anything right with me, but... subjecting myself to these two thunder dumpsters on the regs, that's just self-flagellation at its worst. Anyway, fine, Ray and Kirk, hit me with your best dumb.
The team invades Prague and goes head-to-head with the theory of evolution.
Wait, they invaded Prague? Well, that's not exactly cool now, is it? You shouldn't invade anywhere, really. It's just rude as f***. Yeah, I know. They've got God on their side, so everything they do is justified, and isn't that just also very convenient? Also, what has invading Prague got to do with the theory of evolution? Does it live there? Are they going to attack it? I just don't know what the hell is going on.
I'm trying to figure out why you would believe a fairy tale like evolution.
Ah, well, if you call it a fairy tale, it must be one. Also, the irony of Ray calling anything anyone else thinks is true a fairy tale when he's a god-gargling creationist is freaking hilarious. The things he believes makes even the most fanciful of fairy tales downright reasonable by comparison. Maybe that's why he thinks evolution is a fairy tale, because to him, they're just stories that make a whole heap of sense.
Then, Ray is surprised to discover what just may be the missing link.
Ray discovers the missing link? Wow, that makes no goddamn sense at all. You know, since anyone who's even vaguely scientifically literate knows that the idea of a missing link is completely ludicrous. On the other hand, if he does believe that there's a missing link between man and ape, and then he takes a look in a mirror and, well, things are starting to add up now, aren't they?
It's a crocodile that has evolved into a duck.
Oh my god, it's this video? Oh shit son, I haven't been this excited since I first covered you guys and got to see the origin of the atheist's banana. I mean nightmare. Jesus Christ, you guys are such a pair of memes. And while we're on it, I want to address the few people who seem to be bothered that I cover older videos like these. Well, as ancient as these ludicrous claims are, this video was uploaded to their YouTube channel in 2020 and has 70,000 goddamn views on it too. Meaning either they know that this is a stupid claim but keep doing it to trick the 70k more idiots into thinking it's a good point, or they're so staggeringly dumb that they still don't understand why it's a really silly thing to say all these years later. Oh my god, the dance music! Listen. Say whatever the hell you want about these two. That the things they believe are idiotic, that they are liars, that they are the intellectual and scientific discourse equivalent to an oozing puddle of chunky liquid excrement. You know, without the charisma. But that song is a total bop. And I'll eat anyone who tells me otherwise.
Here's a riddle for you.
No. Here's one for you. Why do you be like this? It's a good riddle, because there's literally no answer that doesn't end in the words f***ing idiot. But sure, fine. What's your riddle? And it better be a riddle, and not something that's ostensibly not a riddle, because otherwise I'm going to be the big mad mate.
Which European country has over 2 million people, 59% of whom are either agnostic or atheist?
Wait, I was right, this isn't a frickin' riddle. This is a weirdly specific bit of general knowledge type thing. Shocking that you guys who've been making TV for years, maybe decades up to this point, wouldn't even know how to make a fake game show properly. And wouldn't know what a riddle is if it kicked them in the face and stole their terrible hairdos. And that's not a riddle, that's just a fact.
And yet, its capital city is home to a world-famous 600-year-old clock.
Oh, it's Hugh Hefner. Wait, you said world-famous 600-year-old clock. Never mind, I was thinking of something else.
Where hundreds, sometimes thousands of people gather daily to watch the 12 apostles come out.
Oh, okay, it's a big religious clock. Cool. Not 100% sure how that's going to disprove evolution, like at all. I mean, seriously, what has a clock got to do with evolution? It's not like there's a really stupid, constantly debunked argument about watches and their makers that you guys constantly f***ing bring up, because I decided that it doesn't exist anymore, and that's that, okay?
The answer is the Czech Republic, and the city is Prague, the 10th stop on our 13-country, 13-day tour of Europe.
Wow, you visited 13 countries in 13 days? That's, well, not really a very long time. What, you get kicked out of those countries after being there less than 24 hours or something? Come on, man, there's loads of stuff to do in those places. You can't stick around for 5 more minutes and stay in a country far away from me? Ah, well, at least if they do get to the Ook, they won't be here for very long. So thank atheismo for small miracles, I suppose.
Prague is as crowded as a New York City sidewalk, but as quaint as a Brothers Grimm's fairy tale.
Not sure what evolution has to do with quaintitude, and Brothers Grimm? Quaint is hardly a word I would use in order to describe their fairy tales. In fact, they're usually horrifying stories about really messed up situations that tend to end in someone's graphic death. Now, you might find that to be a bit quaint compared to the Bible, and I guess I would agree with you. However, that's not to say Prague isn't actually quaint, just that I'm not sure you lot know what that word actually means.
Its famous wooden shops look almost like dollhouses. They're perched on winding cobblestone streets, and this amazing country is known for its love of puppetry.
Ah, well, it is nice to see you get back to your roots, since you've been Ray's little puppet for years now, haven't you? And you might think that's not fair, he's not a wooden puppet. But to that, I have to ask, why else would Ray stick his hand so far up Kirk's arse?
And marionettes, with a number of puppet festivals each year. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw Pinocchio appear.
Well, isn't that the most beautifully appropriate picture you ever did done seen? In fact, I'm shocked that never became a meme. Random person, yes you, take that screenie, go forth and spread that Kirk is a self-admitted liar far and wide. The people must know! And laugh.
Now, you'd never guess it, but this quaint and colorful city
is the setting of a fucking horror movie starring you lot. I mean, that lurching shift in tone is bloody terrifying. Jesus. Although, everywhere you go is a horror show of bad ideas and insipid vox pops, where you ask random people their opinions on things that, well, frankly, no one would actually give two shits what those people think about them. Just so you can show your audience that people who aren't experts in something don't know that much about it. You're like if Freddy Krueger banged Jason Voorhees and the baby was raised by the goddamn gremlins. Although I would totally watch that movie. Well, the sex bit at least.
Has endured the pain of 2 bloody world wars.
Unlike those completely bloodless world wars. They were done all with smotherings. It's amazing what mankind can do when they have enough pillows. Remarkable, really.
An estimated 150,000 Czech soldiers died in World War I, and then just 20 years later, the country was conquered and occupied by the Germans.
I have no idea what any of this has to do with, well, anything really, at least not in the context of this video. I mean, let's take the actual title. This will shatter your faith in evolution. If you then follow that up with, did you know Prague was invaded during World War II? I'm just going to stare at you. But that's because while some shattering has been going on, it's more along the lines of you shatting the bed.
The Second World War claimed 345,000 Czech citizens, including 277,000 Jews.
Has this just turned into a history lesson? It's all very tragic and all very terrible, but, and I can't stress this enough, has nothing to do with the theory of evolution, or why someone would or wouldn't believe it, because it's irrelevant. Did you just have so little in your little debunk in regards to actual points that you had to talk about something completely unrelated?
Hundreds of thousands of non-Jews were sent to prisons and concentration camps.
Jesus Christ, will you get to the pigging point? Right, I'm skipping ahead to something I can actually either make a point about or preferably a joke about this, because this is just f***ed, mate. God.
The German occupation ended on May 9, 1945, with the arrival of the Soviet and American armies. The country then came under the rule of the Soviet Union.
Oh, there it is. This is what the whole thing was about. You wanted to sneakily put in some actual subliminal messages about atheism being communism, and more specifically, the regime of Stalin and the like, and that people should not distinguish them. I should have known you were up to something. I mean, why else would you say stuff that actually, you know, is relatively accurate for such a long time if you weren't then going to use it to be a pair of dishonest sticks?
And along with it came atheistic communism.
Yep, I mean, literally no one calls it atheistic communism, but for some reason you felt the need to make that new term in order to make sure as many of your idiot viewers as possible think atheism is exactly the same thing as that. And, obviously by extension, I'm sure that atheism will also be the same thing as evolution, and thus evolution is in fact communism, some f***ing how. Can you imagine what these videos would be like if they didn't resort to poisoning the well? Although, probably a lot less entertaining if I'm honest.
Yet through it all, Prague's many religious icons have remained standing throughout the city.
Okay. So, I mean, they're quite nice and interesting to look at, so I assume that everybody just decided, you know what, I am kind of an arsehole, but at least I'd like to keep those pretty statues about. And that's not even to mention that the Nazis were literally Catholic, so I assume they wouldn't have even wanted to get rid. So mainly, it's just impressive that the stuff survived the war. Yay! What's your point?
The bridge over the Vltava River looks more like a religious history museum than a bridge.
Oh shit, I just realised he doesn't have one, does he? I think he's just bringing this shit up to say, look, religious stuff, therefore God real / evolution not true maybe, and then hopes his audience comes to those conclusions by themselves.
And every hour, on the hour, the massive clock in the town square strikes, gets everyone's attention, and out come the faithful apostles for what is called the Walk of the Apostles.
Oh man, that sucks. It should be the Walk of the Sir Six and everyone throws bottles of whiskey into my mouth. And when I finally pass out, they all cheer as another hour goes by where I'm too drunk to take over / destroy the world. It sounds like a really good idea to me.
It never fails to attract thousands of tourists. And what a springboard for the gospel. It really is an open-air preacher's dream.
Oh, no, don't you dare! Those people are there to see the cool old toy thing that the long ago folks made way back when. Not to hear some American / New Zealand f***head scream nonsense at them. You know what? I'm jumping the gun here. That they would do that. Religious zealots would never take advantage of people who were somewhere to do something else to try and berate them into believing in God. Would they? Oh yeah, right, of course they would.
Good afternoon, folks!
Oh, you motherfucker. And damn, that horror sting was perfect, but god damn it, Ray, f*** off. This isn't for you. These people aren't your captive audience. They are likely tourists who came to see the cool old clock, and the uncool old cock can go away, and perhaps don't shout at strangers. Also, for those of you who are thinking, well, they aren't captive, they could just leave. Well, yeah, sure, but the point is, they shouldn't f***ing have to.
My name's Ray. I want to have your attention just for a few moments. What I want to draw your attention to...
The fact that you probably haven't gotten any permits to yell here like that? Oh shit, that would explain why countries keep kicking him out. I mean, goddamn, he's loud as well. And you're in Prague, so there's a really good chance that not an insignificant portion of people there don't even speak English. And yes, I know a lot of European citizens do speak English, but it's far from all of them. So I fear not only are you being annoying, but you're also completely wasting your time. So at least some good has come out of this.
As 25 feet above my head, you'll see a skeleton.
Ah, spoopy boy. Quick, everybody, run. He'll spoop us all to dead. Also, there's a skeleton up there, so maybe if we look away from the spoopy Ray, he might actually go away. Although I wouldn't hold my breath, because someone might add you to the collection up there.
As the clock tolls, you'll see the skeleton ringing a bell. That's symbolic of the fact
that skeletons really, really, really like bells. In fact, they love all sorts of instruments. That's a true fact, TM. They love trombones, the bongo drums, and of course, the xylophone. They are the most musical of all the meatless humanoids.
that you and I are gonna die. One day, the bell will toll for each of us. 10 out of 10 people die.
Okay, that's good to know for science and not the planned destruction of the world. But what about out of 100 people? Or 1,000? I have this horrifying notion that some motherfucker is going to beat the odds and just not die, like ever. And you just know it's going to be Ray screaming at me till the heat death of the universe, knowing my luck.
After death, you have to stand before God in judgment.
Now, you say that, but how do you know? Now, I know you think you know because Bible, but if you didn't have Bible, how would you know? And if you wouldn't, then, well, A, that's kind of lame that there's no other way to find out, and B, your Bible must be a really compelling piece of evidence and not a document full of so many plot holes that it makes a colander look practically airtight.
Will you escape hell? Will you go to heaven?
Escape hell? What, you mean get away from this interaction and never have to have it happen again? Well, unfortunately, you have those damned legs, so I'm not sure there's any escaping the hell that is you. And getting into heaven? Well, that's easy. Whiskey already exists.
Well, if you die in your sins, the Bible says you're not into heaven. So, folks, today, understand this.
That at no point in this interaction will I do anything even coming close to refuting evolution. But I sure as shit am going to make a TV show about how I totally did that, and then put it online, where it'll be ripped apart by various smart guys and comedy morons. Catch you next time.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. No, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the...